Yeah, I'm not a singer, that's for sure. There you go. I did not hear the beginning of that question. I was starting up my stream that I'm going to go live on in 3 minutes. I mean, there's a little bit here and there on that. I mean, basically, large positions expired in the money or were closed and rolled, starting to get rolled out. They could continue to roll out those positions, if they did expire in the money. But most of those happened. Your biggest ones were in the morning, so like SPX and those were in the morning expiration on Friday. So a lot of the buying and stuff that you saw throughout the day was probably those large positions getting rolled out. You could still see a little bit, continued action of that as people continue to do that. If you're on the future side and you settled in the money as they expired, you could continue putting your position on. Maybe Friday, with the action going on, you decided to wait a little bit just for the air to clear. The other thing to note is JP Morgan, the collar is actually end of month. It's end of December, not quad witching like a lot of people get confused. Shout out Kevin Green for teaching me that. Buenos dias. It's Monday morning. Let's get fired up. Let's have a day. Chad is first. I see you, Chad, first in the chat. Awesome. Let's get some music turned on here so we can get little background vibes going on this Monday morning. It's cold where I'm at. I am in central Mexico. Believe it or not, it is 44 degrees outside right now. So it is chilly down here this morning. But either way, I'm here. I'm ready to trade the markets. We'll see what we have going on today. Let's get some things fired up here. I don't think we have much of anything, at least on the data macro front this week. Obviously, we had some wild movement. We'll go over some of that. And any news, anything that does come out, we'll cover it for you guys. But let's have a day. Let's have a Monday. I'm excited to be here. Wednesday, obviously, is Christmas, and the markets will be closed. So decided to move the stream to today. Wanted to make sure and get 2 streams in for you guys as promised per week. So here we are. Get some things flipped around here. And there we go. All right, we got some more people. Rue hitting me with the Celsius. Yeah, it is. Gosh, probably 5 Celsius. I have some things in Celsius and some in Fahrenheit. I obviously understand Fahrenheit a little bit more, but I've learned Celsius. Of all the metric imperial system stuff, Fahrenheit's the only one I still actually kind of like when it comes to temperature in most aspects. But outside of that, kilometers, meters, all of that actually make way more sense in the grand scheme of things. But anyways, good morning to everyone. Let's take a look here just to make sure there's nothing on our macro calendar. Durable goods, I don't think this is really going to do much of anything. Maybe this consumer confidence. I don't really see any of these doing a whole lot. 2-year note auction later. I mean, one of these things like comes in really wild, maybe it gives us a little volatility, but I don't really think it's going to be a big deal. All right. Get my get stuff sent out everywhere. Right. Now, if we look at where we closed on Friday, essentially right there. Let me turn this on. Oh, turn extended hours on there. Yeah, so QQQ 0.04%, SPY slightly red. So we're essentially, I mean, as far as any gap fills, this is the first thing I look at, the gap fill stuff. I don't really see any anything. Right. Yeah, first thing I'm looking at is like any gap fill stuff. I just don't think it's going to be worth watching because it's going to be so tight. Now, if something happens between now and the next 3 minutes, but gap fill, gap fill is the first thing I love to look for. But I mean, 0.05. I mean, these gaps are going to close probably within seconds. So we'll keep an eye on it. Just going through some stuff. News stories. there wasn't a whole lot of news stories that really, I mean, we were going through them on Spaces with Evan just a few minutes ago. If you guys don't know, Evan, stock market news, fantastic place to get news, and I always enjoy talking with him. We did have Michael Saylor bought some more Bitcoin, average price of 106,000. 106,662 actually was his cost basis. And I believe his cost basis averages up to like 62 or something like that. But MicroStrategy bought some more Bitcoin though, not doing a whole lot this morning. Where you at, Bitcoin? Let me find my bearings here. Yeah, 95 just dipped into 94 and came back up a little bit there. So a little bit down on Bitcoin overall for the weekend, but still hanging out, pretty high. You go to a daily or weekly chart, it still looks pretty crazy. Palantir had some news. Palantir and Anduril, both which they're both like Lord of the Rings names, I believe, or something like that. I'm not that deep into the weeds on it, but either way, they are both reportedly in talks with several companies to make joint bids for U.S. government contracts. So I thought that was interesting. Palantir just cannot seem to even catch bad news these days. Palantir is just flying. It's been a darling of X and FinTwit for a long time, and it's finally doing great. Right. Make sure my squawker's going. We have a minute and a half. Till the opening. What are you guys watching today? What have we got? What's on your watch list? Rue's watching for the gap fill, maybe a midnight touch. Yeah, that's a report. Andre actually put that one on my radar a little bit. Andre from Edgeful, for those that maybe don't know, he put that one on my radar just because apparently that when there was at midnight on Sunday, the opening retracement, ICT opening retracement or something like that. I've never really thought of or paid attention much to it, but when I looked at the stats, I thought it was pretty interesting there. Interesting. So what I did was I drew this one. I've got a couple things drawn here. Let me turn off the so I went from the all-time high down to the low, and you can see we made it just past half back right here, and basically couldn't get back over it. I mean, we had a ton of momentum. There's our market open, but we got back up to here, and this area I think is going to be big. This 562 to 558 area is going to be big, and then on the upper side, obviously this area right here, 658, 660 or 660s, 670 even. This area was pretty big. We saw, I mean, it's set here forever, went back up, and then finally crashed through it. And then you see like what it's done overnight. This I like this. I'm just gonna leave this fib on my chart because it's pretty interesting there. Our pivot point down here at 457. Just kind of getting our bearings going here this morning. See what we can find. Make this a little bit bigger. I know you guys like to see the previous week's range. Of course, we're inside of that. Let's turn that off for a minute. Previous day high, previous day low. Keep those on watch. Nvidia ripping off the open. I just heard the squawker actually say that their 138 calls are coming in active on Nvidia here at the open. But we'll see what happens. Monday mornings are always kind of a crapshoot. What is going on over here? This off my screen. There we go. Okay. My other screen had something on it over there. I couldn't get a little like, hey, futures are closing early tomorrow. Yeah, we know. Yeah, tomorrow is a half day, and then Wednesday closed, and then we'll be back. I'll be back on Thursday streaming again. But anyways, in the meantime here, let me get everything pulled up here. We do have a slight gap up. We could play back to the downside. That probably fills pretty quickly. Here's your gap fill. If you're looking for a long, this gap fills, I think, you long. If you're looking for it, obviously. SPY has already filled its gap, so nothing to really look at on the gap fill side of SPY. Now, as Broadcom is up 2.5% now. It was up to about 2.3% in pre-market trading. Now, a reminder, that is the 6th largest company in the NASDAQ, so keep that in mind. Pushing. This is the area that you consider shorting against, and maybe a little bit higher. I'm tempted to take a small short here just because of that fill. But it's Monday morning. It can go further than you want it to. But this is the area, like right here, where we obviously had some issues. Tried to hold here and then rejected. We did get through it last night. So this area or up here is where I'm going to be looking at shorting. Another test of this and hold, you probably long, especially if we get back down here. I definitely want to look for a long, because this is basically the midpoint of, and you see this midpoint of Friday's action. I just went to RTH, right? So New York session only from here to here. And the midpoint of that, we never got back to a halfway retrace of that day. So that'll be interesting to keep on watch. Like 4 minutes into the open here, I'm not super crazy about this. AMD is also getting bid up a little bit here at the open. Apple basically break even, Amazon, Microsoft break even. Google up a little bit, 0.75%. Meta's up over 1.5%, so is Nvidia. Tesla up over 2%. AMD and Avgo, Broadcom both up over 3%. Yeah, these things have looked a little bit strong right now, but I mean, we are rejecting that same area. I mean, basically, I'm thinking about if we short right here, if we get back up here, because it may just reject VWAP here, but short and risk high of day and look for this, but we're counter trend trading on this too. So I'm not super excited about it, especially early on a Monday morning, just market just opening 6 minutes ago. Yeah, was it pivot point right? Oh, I'm all over the place. Sorry, guys. 457 is our pivot point today. It would be wild if we didn't come down and touch that. I think we do. You could probably try a short right here and just risk, like, I mean, that's going to be a decent risk though. 15 to 20 point risk, maybe 30 point risk. The other thing I'm looking at is that NFP level right here. If this rejects, then I'm definitely gonna play short off of that. Pre-market high is just underneath it, so honestly, I feel like you could take a starter and just risk to here, but the way we're so close to the open, I just don't really want to risk it just yet, but I still think you could. It looks like there's selling pressure here. The problem is it's this opening volatility will fake you out a lot. Would be wild. Where's our look? Our R1's all the way up here. You know, I could see this as a very common scenario. I could see this as a very, very likely scenario today, actually. If we get over this 728, I mean, I think your long targeting 812 and targeting 900. That's your golden retrace for that big move down. If you look from right here down to here, here's your fibs. This is the golden retrace right here, 898 of the whole fall, which is a very common, retracement point for a lot of things to happen. And you notice the halfway retrace, the 0.5 fib right here did have some action on it, especially on the back side of the day after this crazy, short covering rally and just, I don't know, a lot of things going on there. Well, I hope somebody scalped a short, because if you took a short in this area, you're already up 30, 40 points. Lock in your profit. Another great point here, Chad. Daily 5 and 20. I believe, actually, the high of last night, right there, 738 basically. That is the daily 9 on futures. And right here is your daily 21. Basically where we're chopping at, the 630 area, is that daily 21 EMA. So some people use different ones, right? Yeah, look how quick this is coming right back up. I'm just, these first, especially the first, I like to wait the first half hour a lot of times, unless I just see something that's screaming out at me off the chart. But I also enjoy, make it a little bit bigger there. I also, after the first 15 minutes, a lot of times that can settle things down a little bit, that 15-minute orb that we watch, which we're almost there, looking at what's in play over on Edgeful for the countdown, which I love having this over on the side of my screen. It's funny for you guys, I put it all in the same thing so I can just switch tabs back and forth to show it to you guys. I actually keep this myself over to the side. I do. I just... I want to take a look at one more thing. All right, so the high of the day is SPY's 50 day. This run right here is the 50 day. That's actually very interesting to me. The low of QQQ so far is the 21 EMA on the day. This makes me want to be short ES, to be 100% honest. Where is ES right now? This makes me want to be short. Just looking at that. I don't know, Chad, what do you think? 50-day SPY is basically this high right here. Well, should have shorted here. My plan was to short up here and risk basically up here to this, either the kind of this overnight high and then this outer VWAP band plus this up here 680s. But that's all right. If one of you guys took it, please let me know, because that looks like a great trade so far. 30-point trade again, but boy, look at that. Look how quick that's getting bought up. Book map. Some orders sitting up at in the 720 to 740 range. A couple at 720, some at 740. Some up at 800 And then a little bit down, I mean, there's a decent amount close to us all the way down to 600, but then 550 has a little blurb on here. What I don't see, guys, is any large orders anywhere, which is very common in a week like this where we have a shortened week. We have holidays in the middle, a lot of people on vacation. It's a tough call, right? Because you're going to have a lot of, you have a big chance that you don't get a lot of movement. Or if you do, it's slow and grindy because of the low volume. But you have a thin order book, which when I say thin order book, the fact that there's not many resting orders over here tells me a lot, right? It tells me that I'm just not that excited. Yeah, I expect low vol and the wind can be blown. So yeah, so that's where it gets really interesting, right? It's like, okay, low volume, thin order book, things can get manipulated quickly, and moves can get faded really fast, but they can also just keep grinding up. If you're not running into any new sellers or new buyers, things can just keep fading in the direction they're fading. Great point. Well, we'll be watching that all together, of course. Is GameStop going to be going crazy today? Of course. Go figure. That makes sense, right? IWM, new low of day, under pre-market lows. Tech doing well. IWM not doing well. SPY is break even. So this indicator, let me turn off these other ones so you guys can see. This gap fill indicator, I really like for a couple of reasons. One, I love the gap fill. Absolutely love it. But two, this is automatically, once the gap does fill, this yellow line, it's automatically showing me where the closing price was. So like this right here, if it comes down and fills, which it probably will, as we talked about, right here, this is the closing price on Friday. I would expect that gap to fill, just based on the probabilities here. It's not that big of a gap. So those of you that don't use this, it tells you the gap size here, tells you how far you are away from your target on QQQ. You can also do this for futures, any other ticker you're trading. It also tells you what direction to look for. So bearish, I'm looking for down action. And here we come, right? It's going to be right down in this area. Let's see, that gap going to fill probably here. Yep. Let's see if we come down and fill that gap. Opening price right around where that gap fill is going to be at. If you're looking to get long, I think that's probably your spot. It's just it's an interesting question. Your big down candles across the board on tech. Boy, if I would have taken this trade, I hope somebody took this trade. 40-point trade or so, 35. Getting a lot closer to filling this gap. This size on this gap, and we're right on the 9 and 21 right now. Probably get some type of bounce here off the 9 and 21. But if you reject up here in this area, make a lower high, I think it's almost worth shorting. With the gap fill, so by size, we're in the smallest range here. We're in this range right here. Gap up, this is going to fill 78% of the time. If you just look at this last 6 months, Mondays, gap up on Monday fills 62% of the time. So a couple different ways to look at it. I think you short that pop right there. Boom, there you go. That was quick. That was quick. Here comes your gap fill. Here comes your gap fill. Lower high. Beautiful, beautiful. Boom, there it is. This candle's going to turn red. There's your gap fill. Now let's see if we hold this area. Well, I hope somebody got that. There was two shots at that I didn't take here on this Monday morning. That's disappointing on my part, but that's fine. Plenty more opportunities to come. But that was a good setup. It really was. Let's hope that's not our best setup of the day, being a holiday week. There's your gap filled on the what's in play. So we do have our orb set. All right, there's our 15-minute orb. We broke it to the downside. We've had mostly double breaks the last several days, except for Thursday where we came down, but double breaks being the most common. So even though we broke the bottom side, it's still pretty common that we break the upper side, which would be right up here, right? Love how when that gap fills, it just puts it right on my screen. I want to get long. I want to get long and target this area again. Unless we don't hold this down here. We're kind of in the middle of where I want to be. And if you look at, so the afternoon, so basically the 728 down to this area right here makes me want to stay out of this chop zone and play out of it. Play out of it or come down here and play back to it. All right, this 58 to 63 area, I'm very tempted to try the long bound of that area. It's a quick stop out if we go below Globex low, London low, which is right here. It's also where we settled at the end of the day, 552. I think I'm just gonna leave it. I think I'm gonna leave an order down here, 63, and see if it holds tight risk. Yeah, I got an order down here at 63. I'm gonna let it come to me though. I'm not gonna front run it. Opening price was 556. All right. All right, I just filled a tight or a long right here. See if we can get back to 600. There we go. There we go. Manage my position here. Would love to get back to, let's get to this area. First trim I'm going to take at probably right here, 85, 86. That'll give me 20 points or so. All right, I'm up 15 points. A little bit higher, a little bit higher. Let's go ahead and take the trim right there. Boom, 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 boom. To start the day off nicely. All right, not a third there. Next target is going to be, if we can get up here, let's front run 600 at 597. 597. I don't like that SPY is high of day was at the 50. Anybody get any of that? We're coming back right towards my entry right here. Come on, let's get us out a little bit more at 97. Boom, there it is, boom. Boom, 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 boom. There it is. Boom. Nice trade. 50 points. There we go. 50-point trade, guys. All right. I am out 2/3 now. All right, stop at break even. $50-point trade. Beautiful. We were patient on that one. Boom. Anybody? Just me? Am I the only one that took that one? This would be a target for another trim. 638. Beautiful, beautiful. There it is. There it is. Push, baby, push. Let's get a 75-point trade here on this Monday morning. Yeah, 75 points. That's what I want. 637 right there, that area. How we doing? How we feeling? We're gonna get the double break of the 15-minute orb. That would be beautiful. Give me the double break. Let's go. Let's go. Let's push stops up to 600. 597. It's a good morning. Come on, chat. Where y'all at? Now we chill because we're right back in the middle of that box, but we're long from here, so we are happy. Beautiful, beautiful morning. There he is. Appreciate it, Derek. Yeah, well, we planned it out, right? You could have taken the short or the long. I looked at this from both directions a while ago. We talked about this area up here, the 658 area up in this area for the short, and we talked about this area for the long. That was the support, that's fib support, that was an overnight low. It could come back down and break this still, right? It could still come down and break this, and we stop out, break even on the last runner. But when we take out 90% or more of a trade in profit, it's always a good trade, right? Especially on futures. On futures, half of the battle is pushing, half the battle is getting the reaction points right, and then trimming as you're correct and letting your runners do the work for you. At least my approach is that way. 597 is stop. We are still good. I'm not going to add back to this trade right now. We are still, we just got our 30-minute orb set. I would love to see the double break on this today. 30-minute orb is set. I'm going to take this off. You guys know where I'm long from. 30-minute orb. See if we can get a double break of that. Let's see what the double break stats are on InQ. Same 30-minute. We haven't broke either side. It's gonna break one side or the other. No breaks in the next half hour is very, very rare. Double breaks pretty common throughout the day. Most common, actually. This kind of tells you, like, as a whole. So this is your orb, 30-minute orb low. This is your 30-minute orb high. As a whole, you usually break both sides. That's the most common. I mean, you have 40% versus, what, 30 and 20%? 31 and 28. So what that tells me, as a whole, we get mostly, like, range days, or after this 30 minutes, at some point during the day, we break both sides. That's the most common. All right, I just got stopped out. Let me update everyone. Boom. Oh, Ace the Kid, Jordy, Bing Bong, Bing Bong. It's my boy right there, Ace the Kid. Shout out to the legend himself. I do a lot of streams with him as well. I like to jump in on his stream from time to time when we can. It's always a good time. He's got a lot of good things going. He's also the host of All These Spaces. Even though I got stopped out there, I got stopped out at 97. Look how much lower it went. If I went break-even stop, I'd still be fine here, but I wanted to lock in the profit. So I've locked in profit. I've had a good trade, good morning. So now we let things work themselves out. One of the worst things, at least from my trading, and I go back, guys, I hope you go back and review your trades. But one of the things that I've noticed about myself, I get stopped out of a trade and then I see the trade like still valid. I'll jump back in at a worse entry. So my risk reward is way off. Like for example, if I jump right back in this trade, like after getting stopped out right now, if I jump like, okay, well, look, it's getting bought up. If I jump right back in this trade right now, my risk reward is way off because there's overhead resistance right here. And where do I stop out? Do I stop out here? Do I just give back my original trade and my original risk reward? No, I don't want to do that. I want to wait for a better entry and a better trade. So back to the sidelines for me right now, but with some nice green in my pocket. Let's go on a Monday morning. Take a look around. I haven't really heard a whole lot of news. AMD is absolutely screaming to the upside. Broadcom is way up as well. Both of those up over 4.5%. NVIDIA up 1.7. Meta is still green. Tesla slightly green. Google, Apple break even. Amazon right under break even. Microsoft red. Netflix decently red today. And Costco. Don't forget, guys, Costco is a heavily weighted NASDAQ name. It's number 8 on the list. Costco is not something to be ignored if you trade NASDAQ. I keep it on my watch list. Let's go back and remember SPY's high of day was the 50-day. SPY is definitely weaker right now. All right, there's my buddy Evan, Stock Market News. If you guys don't follow him, make sure you are following him. He's fantastic for all kinds of news stuff. That's where I was reading off a lot of news to get the stream started. Look at SPY. This is what I was worried about. We saw that 50-day. Look, there's the 50-day on SPY, basically 591.50, we'll call it. That's a problem. That's a problem. SPY is making new lows right now, new low day on SPY. Like I said, ES was the short side. ES dragging tech. Look, now we're breaking through. But a 75-point trade. Let's see if we break this. If we break this, then I'm looking for a back test to short. Like something like coming down to this area, 520 to 512. Yeah, somewhere in there. And then getting low in here. Send that out to my people there. Appreciate everyone that came through and supported the stream this morning. We've got over 100 viewers now, 51 minutes into the market. But some of you, I recognize you've been here quite often. I appreciate everyone. I wonder where Garrett's at. I haven't seen Garrett yet this morning. I know he's a new dad, so shout out to Garrett. My man Bob's always in here. Chad's in here. Has been in here a lot. My friend Rue over in Portugal. Appreciate everyone. And Derek, a new observer in here this morning. We appreciate you for stopping by. Hopefully you'll check this out. Yeah, look at this. Breaking the low. Boom, boom, boom. Look at these VWAP rejections too. That's something sticking out to me. All right. If you bounce in this area, maybe, or if you hit this halfback of Friday, this is New York session, so right here to here, halfway back is this right here, 486. So this area is of interest to me. This 400 golden retrace would be interesting too, but I kind of want to see what we have as we come down to it. Guys, make sure you are checking out Edgeful. One, you can tell. Look at how many of my indicators are Edgeful indicators. Edgeful on 2 different chart layouts that I use, plus all the data that I put behind all my trades. Make sure you're checking them out. You've got to try them out if you haven't tried them out yet. $500 could be a spot as well. How about that? We cut 75 points to the upside on a down tape. What a morning. Just bounced right off of 500. We're kind of coming into no man's land here. Yeah, there's a halfback. NQ is we're at halfback of Friday's range right now on NQ. Yeah, I just heard on Spaces SPX is at 5,900, which honestly, we went back and forth, but potential bounce spot here back to 500. But that's not a big enough. That's not a big enough range for me. I mean, if you got long right here at the 80s, you could try to take it back to 520, 512, maybe this low. I think you're gonna get that. Me personally, I'd rather see this if this bounces and rejects in this area. So this is your Globex low, and this is the area where I was long a while ago. So draw a little box there. I'm gonna watch this box right here. But this is the pivot point. Who was that? Oh, there he is. Look, he's already is already in the chat talking about looking at that that pivot point. This is a nice bounce off that halfway back. If you just look at the New York session RTH on Friday, that 486 was our midpoint on NQ, and that's a nice about a 50-point bounce here, right back into the short zone. This is where, well, if anybody took it, I hope somebody took it, because that was a beautiful beautiful spot. You could have got a nice little 50-point trade right there. It has 50 points right now from this level. I mean, 10-point risk. You could have risked a little bit more just to be, you know, safe with the volatility. But now we're coming back into this. So I have Globex low, London low, which, well, we're still in London, but essentially pre-market low. I have orb low, 30-minute orb low, and these fibs all right here. That makes me want to think about a short here as this comes in. Let me draw this on a cleaner chart over here. Oh, get out of my way. So you can tell all we've done is come back to the midpoint from here to here. That's all we've done so far. Boy, this is definitely a short zone right here, right now. The only thing I don't like is how far we are still from the EMA9. I want as many layers of confluence as possible, but I think you could try it here. Let's see maybe if it wicks up, like if it wicks up to here and the candle still closes under here. I think that's it. I think that's where you try it. It's a back test. Let's see if it wicks to here. What was the low on the SPX? You're 2 points away from that 5,900 on SPX. I think, look, it wicked through it and it's closing under. Look at this. Look at this. Oof, I did not take that, but we'll have our IB here in a minute. Our ADR is probably extended after the day we had Friday. Let me get back to QQQ on my What's in Play dashboard over here. Let's take a look. At 30 minutes since we broke the downside, the chances that we come back to the very top are minuscule. So if you do have a long on from here, this is first target, our main target, and this stuff will be your next targets. I really want to try to sell this coming into the EMA9. I don't know, I've had one good trade today. I don't really want to. I would have felt a little bit better if this came up a little bit higher. Be patient since we have one really good trade already. The music is a vibe. Boom, 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 boom. I'm looking at SPY here. This is pre-market low on SPY that we're rejecting. I'm going to go ahead and jump this up to my 30-minute orb because I like the 30-minute orb best. Rejecting underneath it. Rejecting. 15-minute doesn't look great. 5-minute makes you think something looks good, but this could just be people. 15-minute does not look that good. No. Yep, that was the entry for the short, the back test, because you're already up 40 points. VIX still up in the 19s. That's that means size down and have quick targets, really. The no-name guy. That took me a second. The no-name guy, I currently had one MNQ at, then add one at a time, moving my stop to break even. How do you size add to positions? Trying to find my own style. Thanks, dog. All right. So everyone does things a little bit differently, right? I like to scale in, so like, let's use an easy number here. Let's say 3 MNQs. So it all depends on your size, on your account size. So everyone's different, right? Especially if you're trading prop firms, it's even a little bit more different than your. Look where this candle closed. Look, we rejected right on my box so far. No, so like if I was, let's say a full position for me, just for easy numbers here is 12 MNQ. I'm gonna buy in orders of 3. But if it's like I may put an order, it depends on the situation. I may put an order like earlier. I put an order here, and when it filled, I added another one. Like it filled here, I saw it start to bounce, so I added into it as it was bouncing, and then I scale out in like 3s as well. So like if I'm buying in 3s, I'm scaling out in 3s, and let's say like 12 is going to be my position size, just for the easy numbers here. So if I take 12, my first trim can be, trim out 3 at 20 points or whatever. That's going to be a quarter of my position. If, if we get to the next target at 40 or 50, I can trim out 3 more. And so I can keep up with my position sizing if I do that. So for example, let's say you trade 20, you could trim out in lots of 5, or you could trim half out. You could take 10 off, that first, if you get that first 30, 40 point move. And then from there, you can start, scaling out a few at a time as you hit more targets, right? That's the way I approach it. I focus on getting my levels and my entry, my reaction point correct. And then from there, I start to trim out, accordingly, right? But I usually want to be out a quarter or a third once that initial move goes in my direction. Once I kind of get to the first real target, I want to be out at least half. And if I get to target 2, depending on the trade, I want to be out 2/3 to 3/4 of my position, right? So, everyone's a little bit different. So if you're buying in 1 at a time, if you're buying in 3 at a time, some people buy the whole position at once. I personally don't like that style, but everyone's different, right? Everyone finds their niche. So I'm sharing my strategy just so that if it fits with you, or if it's an idea that you like, you can try it. Make sure you try it out and see if it fits into how you trade. We're all different emotionally. We're all different psychologically. So make sure you are conforming to you, right? Make sure you're doing trade review. Go back and look at your winning trades, your losing trades. Screen time too. See a big buyer down here at 30 trying to hold things here. So far, this is a back test and rejection. What's SPY looking like? SPY fighting right at orb low. Yeah, I'm not upset. There. Now we're wicking through it into the EMAs. See, that's why you don't chase. And once you get this rejection, it's way down here. That's why you don't chase it down here, because your risk to reward for the short should have been here, going this direction. And tech has been the strongest one today when I look across the board, which SPY's getting a nice bounce. QQQ still is green. SPY fighting with pre-market lows. That's kind of the wick I was expecting actually in this candle. This looks like a back test on tech. A little green to red move. What other music do we have on here? Let's see what the chill hop sounds like. Boom, boom, boom. I'm thinking this is a short zone. I didn't take this one. But that wicking into those EMAs is what I was referencing before, and we're still under. We never closed a candle over orb low, 30-minute orb low, which is this red line right here, and we're coming back down. I don't know. We may get our pivot point. But we'll see. I mean, you also see this right here. This is basically this is where we consolidated. Do we still hold here? But I don't know. We got a minute till this IB forms, and we can take a look at these stats as well. Actually, I do want to go look at these 30-minute. I want to look at these 30-minute orb stats again throughout the day. Pretty strong that we do double breaks. Where's our? Let's go to IB. So the IB is going to be set. We should break one side or the other. And based on where we're at, it would probably be this low, unless this starts going this way. But I would lean to this fact. I mean, look, we're under the 30-minute orb. We're under pre-market, right at the pre-market low, but we're under most of pre-market. We're coming into, I mean, this is the MA9, the blue one right here that you guys see. Tracks right through here, this blue one. It looks like the short's gonna keep playing out here. Well, this box entry is pretty nice. David, I have failed too many times entering with full position in MQ. A few weeks ago, I started entering with scale. I now watch 10-minute, 5, 3, 2, 30-second charts over CBC and Confluence. Now successful. David, that's awesome. First off, way to go through and find what works for you, right? Entering full position never worked for me because if I'm, especially like when we're coming into a level, like this morning we were coming into this level, if I took a full position here and it just happened to go straight through it, that's a bigger loss than if I just take, set an order and then as it starts to bounce, I add to it, like looking at a 1 minute or 2 minute chart, or just watching how the orders happen on the DOM, things like that, right? There's a lot of tools you can use and look at, but taking what works for you is always the best, the best way to go. Just figuring it out can be a little bit tedious of a process, but For me, I like to scale into my positions. So plus, like, let's say, like in this case, if you longed here and trimmed, and then it came back, and you see this starting to hold here, you can add back in here, and basically use this as kind of your buffer, this 512. Which, what did I have from Friday afternoon? This 512, and you see where these kind of tweezer, not really tweezer bottom, but basically, I'm sure if you looked at a different time frame, it may be, but that area right there, which is this area, is interesting to me. Yeah, so that's another way to look at it. So if you look, let's say you took your starter at 512 and it came way down here, you could have added down here, and on the bounce, right size yourself. Our friend Frank, he'll do that a lot. He'll buy like reverse scaling. He'll go like he'll buy 3 contracts or 4 contracts, and then he'll buy 8, and then he'll buy like 12 or 16. So he's like, as something's coming into his level, he's buying in higher amounts. Look at this orb below. Look at this box. I don't really want to be a part of this right now because it's fighting. Buyers are trying to get this tick set back in. Sellers are trying to reject this area. There's a battle going on here, and neither side is winning. You see these upper wicks, lower wicks, lower wick, upper, lower wick, a lot of doji, a lot of indecisiveness. And look at this box. I just drew a simple box. I went to where was our low in pre-market and where was all this support, where my fibs were at, which even if you didn't draw the fibs on here, you can see this right here where it bounced on Friday, where we opened. So this is the opening candle from last night or yesterday afternoon, I guess, evening, whatever you want to call it, Sunday evening. This right here is 566. And then you can see where we're hanging out down here on the lower end is basically where we closed up on Friday. So that's why I drew that box there, area of interest for me. Oh yeah, big shout out to Frank the Tank. More experience than most of us have years trading over there from Frank. I've learned a lot from him. Big shout out to him. And of course, shout out to Edgeful. I mean, just getting these stats, having stats and confluence behind those gap fills happened quick this morning. But being able to look at orb stats, being able to look at size of gaps, all kinds of different stuff. Today is kind of a strange day. Boy, this spy looks like a bear flag. Let me go down. This kind of looks like a bear flag. You see this like just grindy. So we move down, we bounce back up, but sitting right on orb low. Right on orb low, 30-minute orb low right there. And this is your 15-minute orb right here. Let me just change that so you guys can see the visual. I've done this so many times I can see it, but I know sometimes people aren't as quick. There's your 15-minute orb low out there. So 15-minute orb low, break and reject. Let's see if the 30-minute one does. This is trying to get back in here. All right, there's still our EMAs right there. Awesome. David, this is awesome. Exceeded your daily goal. You're shutting it down. You're getting ready for Christmas. Merry Christmas to you and to your family. David, hope you have a great week. I will be on tomorrow morning. I'm not going to be streaming, but I will be on tomorrow morning. And then the next stream is actually going to be on Thursday. So But yeah, if you guys made some money this morning, like I've pulled way back here because I caught a 75-point trade there, and we're still trying to sort this back out. I mean, it looks like coming off this halfback, we're trying to accept back over this area. We'll see if it happens. And then, maybe we catch a lower high or something like that. But I don't really want to we're hitting VWAP on QQQ and SPY right now. I'm not really trying to push the gas today. I just don't know how good the trading action is going to be after that kind of open, Monday morning open volatility. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. The next, we got about 30 minutes left on the stream. Just over that, maybe 40 minutes or so. But yeah, I don't know how much more trading the point here is. You find your opportunity, you make your money, and you go back to the sidelines. It's kind of like the 3-point shooter in basketball. If you guys watch basketball, the guy that's like the shooting specialist. He's kind of the 6th man, 7th man off the bench. They bring him in, gets his open shots, and then he goes back, sits on the bench. Maybe a kicker. Look at my camera. Boy, this camera. I love this camera because it tracks me around. But every once in a while, like in my hand motions, I'll like set off the auto tracking. But it's kind of like a kicker too. You think about like a kicker or a punter. Like, hey, you're hanging out, you're staying loose, you're involved in the game. If you watch NFL or college football, and when it's your turn to come in, you perform, and then you go back over. Go back to watching the game. That's how I approach it. It's actually what I did in college. Exactly what I did in college, of all things. But I love sports references. It can be any sport, of course. But yeah, it's basically my idea, my approach to markets in general. It's like I look at these and I go, okay, we have a lot of time that you sit around and watch, and then when you're called on to perform, you perform, right? You take your shot. You're not going to make every shot. You're not going to make every field goal. We've seen that. You're not going to have every trade work out in your favor, but the point is to always be ready and to handle that correctly. Yep, this is looking like acceptance back in on multiple things here. So we're back green on the day on QQQ. Let's see if this if this accepts, then it really looks good. SPY accepting back into pre-market lows, or blow, 30-minute or blow. We broke down, we came right back. And then of course we did come off of this down here, this halfback, which once you come off the halfback, this 0.5 retrace, and you get back up here to the 382, as you get to that, then that's pretty good look for, okay, it bounced here and it didn't immediately reject here. That's a decent look. Now if this fails again, then you definitely are going to test this again, maybe the pivot point, but we'll see what happens. Mostly buying, it looks like, it's been happening across the futures book map on NQ. Big amount of orders. Well, right here above our head at 600, decent amount. Decent amount of selling pressure right here. I'm looking at the book map. Right from here up into 600, there's several lots, 590 up to 600. There's some big orders sitting there on my DOM. That doesn't mean they can't be worked through, of course. Resting orders down right under 500. Basically, this area, resting orders down here to stop out. So it looks like people that got long here, they're going to stop out here. If we break this, I mean, you may get a bounce here, but it looks like it could get violent if we break this. Let's see if we hold this time around, make a little bit of a higher low, and then we try to get back up here to VWAP area. We should get a break one direction or another of this IB. Let's take a look at that real fast. So the IB Here, let me show you guys. If you guys aren't used to, or no, if you guys haven't used these Edgeful reports, the data is fantastic. There's a million options. Don't get overwhelmed. Jump in here, and first thing you should do is come down here and read this. What is an initial balance? Initial balance is the range, the height of the low in the first hour of the market. What is a breakout? Well, initial balance breakouts can only happen after it's set, right? After it's formed. And then if it breaks above, that's a breakout. If it breaks below, that's a breakdown. If it breaks both sides, that is a double break. So how can you use this? If single breaks happen often, you can take trades looking for a break that high or low, etc. So you basically put the data into your trading system, right? And get higher confidence setups. We're coming back down. Do we hold this? If we break this? Yep, we got into all those orders that I saw. I would love to break this IB, and I'm actually going to take off this, and I'm going to put on my IB indicator, which is, there's IB initial balance. I like the one that has levels. So these are basically the same thing, but this one has extension levels to it. Pre-market low right here. Lose this level, and I think you're going to come break this. Hold right where we are, or at least contest it. Hold right where we are. Boy, this looks like a this looks like it's going to fail. Boy, it rejected hard off VWAP on QQQ and SPY and IWM, all three. Yep. This looks like it's coming down. This looks like it's coming down. We've still got 30 minutes left. We've got plenty of time to find another trade while the stream's long. One thing that I am trying not to do is take extra trades just because I'm on stream, which is part of the psychology battle of any trading. Some of you guys probably have full-time jobs, and I think that's another part of this as well that is very tempting. Is you basically get, like, if you have a window to trade. Like, it's one thing to have a window set by like if you have a certain time of day where you just do better. I understand that, but a lot of people, if you have like a time during the day outside of your job, and it's tough not to try to force a trade during that time frame, even though you may not have a favorable setup or a great setup. I've run into that many times, especially with this, with like used to when I worked in the office, I ran into it, and now like, being live on streams and stuff, it is tough to not look at things back. I want to get a trade on this stream. That's not what I'm going to do, guys. I'm all about trying to take high quality setups. I mean, that's what Edgeful is all about. Where's my edge at? And if I don't have strong, if I don't have strong conviction, multiple layers of confluence, I don't really want to take the trade, right? Just in general. And that's what Edgeful is all about. Edgeful is all about trying to find your edge and have things in your favor. See, we're still holding right in that box though. That's tough. Well, slowing down kind of like we thought it might. Still looking around here to see what else we can figure out. I have not heard any squawk out of the news guys since like right at the open, and it was mostly just like, hey, this ticker's moving. Take a look at NVIDIA kind of just hanging out. Let's go to 15-minute chart. I like to get the view on the 15-minute chart. Hanging out down here. Meta, no. Google not looking great. Netflix right off of 900. That's interesting, actually. I mean, came through it hard because of what happened, you know, the last couple days into Friday of last week. That's interesting to me. Apple. Even our stronger players are fading now. They're still we're holding pre-market highs here. Look at it. A lot of these big companies are red today. Banks are all red. Every sector's red today. That's... Boy, that just under the hood does not look good today, guys. It just doesn't. Oof. We're still chopping in the same area. This is why I'm just chilling right now, guys. Got the vibes playing in the background. We're just hanging out. Some short-term auctions coming up in a little bit. Nothing really. I mean, tomorrow we get Redbook new home sales, Richmond Fed. There's a 5-year note auction tomorrow, right before the market closes. This is usually at 1 p.m. That's interesting that they have it up earlier because the early close tomorrow. Yeah, it's... Interesting. They pulled the orders I was talking about at 500 just about 15 minutes ago. But when this candle happened, they pulled the support that was sitting about right here. You know, a lot of times I like to put bookmap orders on my chart. That was the only one of note. ES actually has a ton over our heads. What was our high of day? Yeah, this whole area, this 90 from, that's actually from, it's right here. All of this area is a massive amount of orders. Are we awake, chat? Are we awake? Oh, my camera wasn't awake. Made too sharp of a move for my camera tracking there. Yep. Holding this area. Oof, this is rough price action. They held the box. Now you probably see VWAP. Pick out this equal high. You get over 600. You're looking for up here then. Midpoint of the orb right there. %80 of the time, this IB breaks one side or the other. We're smack in the middle. Excuse me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think we break the high or the low today? Or neither? I think we break one side. There's an 80% chance. This right here. 80% chance we break one side or the other. So here's our initial, here's the view. There and there. Breaking it to one side or the other. I would like to break this side, test this area, and try short, which is going to put us right up here, 700 to this area. Yeah, Jayhawk, you know, I'm conflicted, right? Because it looks like the sellers kind of are giving up, but look at this. Look at this. As soon as it gets up into there again, this is still, there's still sellers up here, and the sectors are still red. But I was starting to kind of think the same way, and I was starting to look at that going, oh wow, look at this. That's why we're patient, right? Patient. Wow. Got up there into that 590 again, and big ol' smack. That was VWAP on QQQ. Just when it looked like the sellers were kind of like backing off, they just came in heavy right there. Microsoft new low of day. Ooh, Apple testing the lows. This 1 minute's wild. I mean, the bigger candles. Well, I mean, you have big up. I mean, I don't know. That's that's disgusting looking to me. Look, this right here. This is disgusting because it's trailing upwards with big sell pressures. That's disgusting. Jayhawk, yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta take the hands and just right underneath your seat. Take the hands and right under the seat. You know what I've actually had to do? You know, I've tried everything at this point in my trading career. There's times where I'll let go of my mouse, like instead of sitting here with my hand on my mouse where I can just jump over here and click a button to take a trade, I'll let go of my mouse because I'll start to get that urge. When I feel the need to be in a trade is probably when I least need to be in a trade. When I feel the urge, like I gotta get in something, that's when I usually need to go make another coffee, you know, grab a little snack or something, just walk away for a second. Which I've gotten a lot better just with my psychology side of things. Really focused on that this year, actually. Back in January is when I really put a lot of focus on my psychology. And it's really helped, like one, you start to deal with FOMO. You just sit through FOMO. And once you get to where you can just comfortably watch it happen and just go, hey, that's fine. You know, I'll wait for the next one, wait for the next opportunity. That's part of it. And then just feeling like, because futures, you can look at it and go, futures, you have no PDT, right? No day trading like limits or anything like that. You're not going to run out of, I mean, you can run out of money to trade, but you're not going to run out of buying power, right? Yeah, you know, if you have a cash account on options or something like that, obviously, you know, there's a limit to what you can trade in the day unless you're over the 25K threshold for PDT. But the whole point here is futures are so easy to like jump in and out of positions, whether you're a scalper or not. I mean, it just gets it's really easy to just jump in and out of trades, or like I was saying earlier, you get stopped out of a trade and then all of a sudden you want to jump right back in. You know, you get stopped out of a trade and you're like, oh, the trade's still working out. Let's just jump right back in it and stuff. Like it can mess you up real fast. So I stay away from those chop situations. But so far we have all higher lows. We have acceptance, looks like back into 30-minute orb, acceptance back over here, coming into VWAP. I mean, I would still think maybe a higher low is in the cards, but we're looking at the internals going, tech is the only thing green. The only thing green. I love this. Jayhawk, I absolutely love this. So the trade comes to me when I'm not forcing it. I see the trade. Oh, I've seen this before. Yeah. So when the trade jumps off the screen at you, you know, right? Like when you see 4 things line up for you, 5 things line up, and this just start jumping off like this looks like it, this looks like it. That's when I want to take a trade, right? That's when I'm looking at this going, boom, let's take it. And seeing it laid out before the trade even gets there a lot of times is better, because like sometimes I'll be scrolling through and I'll be like, oh, SPY's at this level and this is at this level. Here's my entry. But I'm not paying attention to like 3 or 4 other things. So I'm sitting here looking at this saying, okay, I want to see several things line up. Now, what am I seeing right now? I'm seeing we're right at VWAP on futures. We're smack in the middle of the 30-minute orb, which is the middle of a box I don't really want to trade in. Directionally, it's this direction, but the internals are down. So I'm using Confluence here, looking at multiple things not lining up, right? What do I have from Edgeful that can help me? I have the fact that we're going to break one side or the other, but do I really want to guess which way that's going to be? I don't really have that conviction in either direction. Now we got over these highs, but you could, I don't know. This to me is a no trade zone. What did I say when the market opened? Right here. So between this area and this area, I don't really want to be in a trade. I want to trade the edges. So I want to be, trading this down here back this way, or this up here down this way. And now we're right in the middle of that action. Nah, no, thank you. As soon as I say that, this stream will end here in a minute, and it'll come down and like bounce here and go this way. Something will happen, right? Something will happen right after the stream. But hey, maybe it doesn't. But this is a strong stat. 80% of the time we break this, we break one side of the IV or the other. So Derek, the ORB, so what I have right here is initial balance breakout. That is pretty much standard as the first hour. The ORB, opening range breakout, or orb, I use the 30-minute. Now people use different ones, right? So there's 30-minute, 15-minute, and 5-minute that they all have stats on because people have different preferences. 30 minutes is the one that I like to use. And if I go back to the what's in play over here, you can see they have it standard on here for the 15-minute. A lot of people use that first 15 minutes of the market. I like to use the first 30 minutes. It's a preference thing, but essentially what it is, let me go back to the report page. 30-minute opening range breakout statistics. So I can change this, right? So customizable right here, customizable to 15 or 30. And then you can also look at the stats for throughout the day, or same candle, which would be the next 30 minutes. So I personally use 30 minutes. That's where, and that just comes from watching it for a long time. So right here I have the IB turned on, but if you look at my NQ, let me turn off the rest of this stuff. So this right here is a view of just the 30-minute. So right there is my high, this is my low, and you see this shaded green area from here to here, that's telling me where my 30-minute orb was at. And then I'm watching, so if you look at this rejection and acceptance back in, and here's my midpoint, which this midpoint's here because I actually had it added just from me watching the orb for a long period of time, whether I don't know how long I've been watching, or probably year and a half, 2 years of trading. I've traded longer than that, but that's really when I first started watching orb. So the bottom and the top of the 30-minute plus this midpoint right here, there's usually some type of reactions around this midpoint as well. So look where this look where this candle's closing, right on the midpoint, and at least some level of interest here. But that's just how I do it, right? Everyone looks at it different. You find the stats that work for you, the pieces of data, pieces of analysis that fit into your strategy. What happened? Oh, you guys probably didn't see any of that. I somehow popped that out into a different window. Let's try this again. All right. So this is what I was just showing while I was not. I think I pulled it off my screen on accident. So here's your low. Here's your high. This is that midpoint I was talking about, which the indicator has all of this show or midline right there. And you see where this midline is right here. It's the midpoint of that first 30 minutes. And there is usually some type of reaction or action right here. Look at this, right at it. If you're a hyper scalper, I mean, this is something you should have on your chart for sure. Like we're breaking and holding VWAP right there. If anything, I don't know. You don't really want to lose 600 here, but if you came back here to this like 585 earlier, you see was kind of a key area. And I remember this being a spot from Friday. It was a low right in this area too overnight, coming into the morning. Let's see, where's that 585? This right in here. I remember this being an area though. Oh, here it was right here. So look at that midpoint. So I just tweeted out the IB stat because that's going to be the main thing I watch today is can we break this side or this side? Depending on price action, I would look for one of those two to break. The only thing is being Christmas week, volume drying up. Do we make it happen? But we'll see. I mean, Microsoft is concerning. This is not the best look. Now, if it holds this and comes back up, it's okay. Apple, the little double bottom, okay. Apple looking constructive. NVIDIA, we know chips have been strong today. Meta's looking good. Most of tech is starting to look a little bit better. Yeah, look, Tesla new high of day. So that tech is looking good. So I want to be thinking probably long here on tech or short on ES. This is looking interesting though for a long, maybe down here again. Now that this resolved and it's accepted back in, I tend to think this is going to go to the upper side, but you see we are rejecting the midpoint here of the orb. We may just come back down to orb low, chop some more. So we'll have to keep all of that on watch here. I don't really have any good view. I mean, I got the one trade, the nice trade this morning, and that's what counts, right? We don't want to overtrade. We want to protect profits, but I just don't see any like high confluence anything. Whenever I see divergence, right? Here's divergence. Just look at these two right here. So you see these two on my chart. QQQ, green, SPY, red. And like the other things I look at, previous day's range, we're not even going to be close to either one of those, right? Because of what happened. We did have, I mean, let's look at this context, right? Huge day on Friday. We're right inside this reminder. Here's our 50-day. This is our 50-day SMA on the daily SPY chart. That's our high of day. That's going to be a big battleground spot. QQQ, right on the daily 21, right under the daily 20. So this is 21 EMA. This is the 20 simple moving average on the daily, and the 50-day down here was not quite tested yet. So, Derek, this is it. This is my main message right now, just from what I'm seeing, right? And we've gone through most of this, here live on the stream. Hold on to your profits. A lot of chop. That could be the story of this week. Shortened week. How many people are in the office today? If you have tomorrow and Wednesday off, would you not take today off and have a 5-day weekend? Most people are doing that, right? So like, I know in our office, in one of our businesses back home, we have tomorrow's closed and Wednesday's closed. So I think some people are in the office today. Some people took off Thursday and Friday to get the long week that way. Some people took off the day to day. I think we are just closing altogether the end of the week. I don't even think we're going to open the office, just because it's a weird week when you have a Wednesday Christmas with a lot of people will take off Christmas Eve, if not a half day at the most. Now, obviously, some businesses don't do that, but a lot of business, especially your government, your banks and stuff, a lot of them are all closing early tomorrow. We do have a close. All right, right at the 2-hour mark. It looks like we're going to go test. So, I mean, just for final wrap-ups here in the stream, I would look for this to be tested next, unless if we fail and go back red on tech, then we look for this one down here. We could get the scenario. No breaks has only happened 1 out of 126 days. If we go back to January, four days since January have we not broken one side or the other. So there's your watch for the rest of the day, guys. This one or this one, whichever you see. If you see some confluence as a setup to go either direction, which this looks like up, especially on tech. So if we see like the rest of the market catching up, then you look for this to break. And with that, maybe we can get back up here. So that's what I'll be watching. That's going to do it for the stream this morning, guys. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Hope we made some money. I know I had a nice trade there. Make sure you check out Edgeful. Shout out to them. So many great things over there, and so many things in development too. I can't share too much information, but there's a lot of good things in the works as well. That's going to even further improve the experience and the tools that we have with Edgeful. So make sure you check them out. Follow the Edgeful channels. All the socials and stuff are down below. Follow me. Follow me on my X and my YouTube as well. I do go live on my YouTube from time to time, or just post some educational videos from time to time as well, mostly focused around Edgeful, because that's what I found to be super, super helpful and part of my success. So appreciate everyone that tuned in this morning. Looks like we had over 144 people total check us out this morning. Appreciate all of you during a holiday week. And yeah, lock in your profits. As like Derek said there at the end, lock in your profits, watch out for chop, and take it slow, take it easy. If you've had you've probably had a good year. If you've been in the market much, lock in those gains as we get towards the end of the year. And if not, there will be more opportunities. The market is always there. The market always gives opportunities. So take it as it comes, but be patient and wait for it. All right, guys, that is it for me. I will be back on Thursday morning. Yes, Thursday. I had to double check in my brain there. So Thursday morning, I will see you guys back right here. Edgeful YouTube, Edgeful X Stream, even on Instagram. If you have Instagram over there, check us out. I have a future space tomorrow morning, half day tomorrow. After that, it's all Christmas around here from my side. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you celebrate, happiest holidays to you and your family. And we will see you guys on Thursday.